Dear students, today we will continue with other terms like propagation time, wavelength, etc. So first, propagation time. What the propagation time is? So when the signal travels in the direction, maybe in the one direction, so the distance between two signal points at time t1 and t2, we'll call it as a propagation time. Okay, and that may be given as t2 minus t1, the signal at time t2, signal at time t1. By that we can find out the speed of a signal, on which speed the signal is traveling. That is called propagation time, that is equal to t2 minus t1. Okay, and wavelength. Wavelength is the distance a simple signal can travel in one period time. When the transmission medium is used to propagate the signal, maybe it will move in one direction of the propagation, then the distance traveled by a signal in one time period, we'll call it as a wavelength. Next is flow control. So flow control is one concept. In the data link layer, what happens when the signal is traveling from one side to another side, sender to receiver? There may be difference in the communication medium. Then what happens? The sender will send the information in a faster way. Receiver may receive in slower way. That means sender will send fast, slower may take information very slowly. And to control this concept, they have given flow control. So sender sends data at higher rate and receive is to sluggish to support that data rate. To solve the above problem, flow control is introduced in data link layer. And there are two approaches, that is feedback based flow control, rate based flow control. There are two type of approaches in flow control, feedback based flow control and rate based flow control. So feedback based flow control is used in data link layer, okay, and rate based flow control is used in network layer. When the data is sent from one side to sender to receiver, then it may reach to another side. Sometime what happens, because of speed, there may be a loss of signal or loss of packets. Then the receiver will give the intimation to sender to send it back. That's why it is called feedback based flow control. And another one is rate based flow control on the basis of bit rate. So in the feedback-based flow control, until sender receives feedback from the receiver, it will not send next data. Types of feedback-based flow control are stop and wait protocol, sliding window protocol. Remember, there are two types of feedback-based flow control, stop and wait protocol and sliding window protocol. Again, in the sliding window, one bit sliding window protocol using go back n, and protocol using selective repeat. So then the error detection and correction. What that error is? A condition when the receiver's information does not match with the sender's information. The transmission is over. What the sender has sent, the information not matching with the receiver side. That we will call it as an error. During transmission, digital signals suffer from noise that can introduce error in the binary bits traveling from sender to receiver. That means a 0 bit may change to 1 or 1 bit may change to 0. Then, to avoid this problem, we will use error detection codes. Okay, maybe in the data link layer and transport layer of OSI model. Okay, and those error detection codes are helpful to reduce the errors. Basic approach used for error detection is the use of redundancy bits where additional bits are added to facilitate detection of errors. That means when the bits are transmitted, along with that some extra bits are transmitted to avoid the problem of errors. Some popular technique for error detection are simple parity check, two-dimensional parity check, checksum, and cyclic redundancy check. And the simple or single parity check. Blocks of data from the source are subjected to check bit or parity bit generator form, where a parity of 1 is added to the block if it contains odd number of ones, 0 is added if it contains even number of ones. This is called simple or single parity check. Okay, parity means the pair of bits. That's why it is called parity, pair of bits. And the pair of bits are checked if there are odd number of ones in the pair, 1 is added to the block, and if there are even number of ones in the pair, then 0 is added. And this scheme makes the total number of ones even. That's why it is called as even parity checking. So in the figure, we can see the parity bit concept. So the sender will try to send the data, that is 1000011. And now you can see here, there are how many number of ones? Odd number of ones. That means the 1 will be added as parity bit. You can observe here, 1 will be added as the parity bit. Then it will be transmitted in the transmission media, and then on the receiver side, it computes the parity bit. If there is a parity bit available, if the even parity bit is available, then it will make the assumption. So there is data is received in a proper way since there is a parity bit. So now there are even number of bits. So it accepts the data. If it is not received in the even format, that means this one bit is lost, then there may be odd number of bits. Then it rejects the data. So that is the concept of parity checking. Two-dimensional parity check. So parity check bits are calculated for each row which is equivalent to simple parity check bit. Parity check bits also calculated for all columns, then both are sent along with the data. At the receiving end, these are compared with the parity bits calculated on the received data. So original data, so it contains row of packets. Okay. Then it will check, it will take all these bits, and here 1, 2, 3, 4. There are even number of bits. Here even number of bits. Here even number of bits. Here even number of bits. So 0 is added. Okay. Now there is like 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. So that means, so these number of column parity bits are added to the signals. Okay, here this is a row parity. It's even, so it will add 0, and again it will check the column parity. But in column parity, here it is odd, so 1 is added. Here it is odd, 1 is added. But here it is even, 0 is added. Here it is odd, 1 is added. Here it is odd, 1 is added. But here it is even, so 0 is added. Here odd, again here odd. So in this way, okay, even it will check the row parity of this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So even number of bits. So 0 is added. And then all the packets are sent at a time to the receiver. Next is checksum concept. In checksum error detection scheme, the data is divided into k segments, each of n bits. In checksum error detection scheme, the data is divided into k segments, each of m bits. Okay, so we can see in the figure we can observe k is equal to 4. That means the whole data is split into 4 parts and each contains 8 bits. So k is equal to 4, m is equal to 8. So here we can observe in the checksum, first and second signals packets are added. Okay. Again, if there is any extra bit, that will be added again, and then the third part is added. Okay, here you can observe with the result third part is added. Again with the result fourth part is added. Again if there is an extra bit, that will be added to the result. Okay, then again there will be a sum, and then there will be a checksum. So a checksum is, it is complemented. The sum is complemented here while sending. In the receiver side, whatever the checksum we have sent, so that will be checked here. Again it will be complemented. That means the whole data is again added, okay, in the same way how we have added here. Original signal and checksum are added, and then we will complement the sum, and when we complement it must be a 0. Then we will say the signal is correctly accepted. Concept like here they have given. The checksum segment is sent along with the data segments. At the receiver end, all received segments are added using one's complement arithmetic to get the sum. The sum is complemented. If the result is 0, the received data is accepted, otherwise discarded. Okay, that's the concept of checksum. Then the cyclic redundancy check, CRC. So unlike checksum scheme, which is based on addition, CRC is based on binary division. In CRC, a sequence of redundant bits called cyclic redundancy check bits are appended to the end of data unit so that the resulting data unit becomes exactly divisible by second predetermined binary number. In the cyclic redundancy check, CRC, sequence of redundant bits, that means repeated bits, called cyclic redundancy check bits, are appended to the end of data unit. Okay, and then whatever the data it is receiving, that may be exactly divisible by the second one, and that we will call it as a cyclic redundancy check. And at the destination, the incoming data unit is divided by the same number. If at this time there is no remainder, the data unit is assumed to be correct and is therefore accepted. If the remainder, the meaning is there may be problems. So this is a simple concept, cyclic redundancy check. Okay, and here we will take the original data and we will divide it by one predetermined binary number, and whatever the result comes, okay, that must be on the another side. Okay, that only we will take on another side. If the same thing appears, okay, if we get the same number, then there is no remainder, means the data unit is assumed to be correct and therefore accepted. The remainder indicates that the data unit has been damaged in transit and therefore must be rejected. This is called cyclic redundancy checks. Just remember, extra bit, extra predetermined primary number. In the CRC, extra predetermined binary number is added to take the one new number. Okay, and at the destination, the same thing is divided by that new number If at this time there is no remainder, the data unit is assigned to be correct. Here you can see sender data, there is M and N. So N plus 1 bits. Okay. So N plus 1 bits are added. That will act like a divisor, and CRC. Okay. That means we will take M as the data. We will take another number called N, and we will try to use this another number as divisor and to this data. Then there will be a CRC, and then that will be sent along with data to the receiver side, and then data with CRC, okay, will be converted back by using the divisor, that means the same number. And if there is a remainder, then the meaning is, if there is a remainder, the meaning is that data should be rejected. And if remainder is 0, then the meaning is it must be accepted. So there is example related to this. I will send in the notes. You try to interpret it. So we don't have time to interpret that one. Next we'll go to polynomial code. A polynomial code is a linear code having a set of valid code words that comprises a polynomial divisible by shorter fixed polynomial is known as generator polynomial. That is called as polynomial code. In the error detection, we will use polynomial code to find out the valid words which are sent from the sender side. Okay. And here, in the polynomial method, the code words which are essentially bit strings are represented by polynomial whose coefficients are either 0 or 1. A k-bit word is represented by a polynomial ranging from x raised to 0 to x raised to k minus 1. The order of this polynomial is the power of the highest coefficient, that is k minus 1. For example, an 8-bit word 11001101 is represented by the following polynomial of order 7. Since there are 8 bits, so 8 minus 1, that is 7. So how we can represent? So the first bit is 1, that we will take it as a 1 plus x raised to 2. Okay, then x raised to 3 plus x raised to 6. Sorry. So that can be represented as 1 into x raised to 7. Okay, this is x raised to 7 since there are 8 bits, plus 1 into x raised to 6. Okay, plus 0 into x raised to 5 plus 0 into x raised to 4 plus 1 into x raised to 3 plus 1 into x raised to 2 plus 0 into x raised to 1 plus 1 into x raised to 0. Then whatever the 0 terms are there, that we can leave, and the remaining term may be x raised to 7 plus x raised to 6, x raised to 3, then x raised to 2, plus the last term is x raised to 0 is 1, so we can take it as a 1. Okay, that is the concept of polynomial concept. Okay. So modulo 2 arithmetic. Polynomial code operations are done by modulo 2 arithmetic. Okay. Addition and subtraction. According to the rules of finite file theory, in modulo 2 arithmetic, addition and subtraction has no carries or no borrows. Thus, both the operations are same as exclusive OR operation. Okay, that means modulo 2 arithmetic is another concept in the polynomial code operation, and this one we will use, okay, to find out the transmission flow control or transmission bit rates, transmitted bit rates, and that we can make by using exclusive OR operation. So what the exclusive OR operation is? That is nothing but if all are 0, the result may be 0. If there is any 1, the result may be 1. And all are 1, then result may be 0. So that means even we can say that if there is either 0 or 1, the result may be 1. If all are of same type, then there may be 0. Okay. So in the exclusive OR, we can see the truth table. So this is operand and another operand, okay, another data. And when we are taking, if all are same, that is 0, 0, 1, 1, then the result is 0. That means the opposite. And if any one is 0 or 1, the result is 1. Okay. This is exclusive OR method that we will call it as a modulo 2 addition. Even the modulo 2 subtraction, the result is same. It will not change. For example, if there are two words 11001011 and 10101111, both addition and subtraction will give the result 011 00100. Since 1 plus 1 is, as per the rule, 1 plus 1 is, both the bits are same, 0. 1 plus 0, so one bit is 0, another one is 1, so we will get 1. So 011001000. In the modulo 2 multiplication, okay, it is same as AND operation. So all the bits which are either 0 or 1 will be 0, and if all bits are 1, we will get 1 in the modulo 2 multiplication. Next is thank you, students. In the next class, we will see other concepts. Thank you. God bless you.